Good evening, everyone. Let's open our meeting tonight with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to our meeting tonight. I am going to be disciplined this evening to move as quickly as we can. We have a lot to cover tonight, and we also have a storm coming in from what they say. So we're hoping we're not going to be in the dark this evening before we finish our meeting, but we'll wait and see. We've been in the dark a lot here in Riley Center the last 2 days. But anyway, roll call, please.
Supervisor Al Titus.
Present.
Clerk Dawn Beam, present. Treasurer Mike Rushing.
Here.
Trustee Dwayne Nagel.
Here.
Trustee Mark Baranowski.
Here. All right, everyone's here tonight. That's good. Any citizens wishing to address the board this evening? Please be brief. Deborah?
Yep, it's actually a question for the clerk.
Okay.
I'd like to hand this out to you. I did come and get a paycheck the other day, and she was in an interview, or interviewing somebody, so she could not speak with me, and I had to cash my check. But if you'll take a look at that, she did deduct my hours off of my time card, which you'll see on the second page. That I had filled in. Past precedent says you fill out your time card, and if there's any discrepancy, you make it up with your next time card. I do have a time card for July, so that would be appropriate. I did put on my July time card. You'll see the supporting documentation, the minutes from back November 9th, as far as sick or personal leave days. Also, I did give you a copy of my check stub, and even if for some reason she deducted 6 hours of that, Wednesday that I was not there off of this time card, if you look at my stub, she actually deducted 8 hours. And she paid me out of wrong accounts. So she paid me 68.5 hours out of the building department fund, and then she paid me 42 hours out of general office. So those are flip-flops. She will have to get with whoever to change that. I'm just saying that I don't know why she deducted 8 hours off of my time card.
All right.
When I had it filled out.
She and I will review that and see what we can do to correct it.
All right.
Okay? Any other citizens tonight wishing to address the board? Art?
Gun laws in Riley Township. What, you have to
I'm sorry,
be so many feet away from a house?
Can you identify yourself, please? I don't know
Art, tell us
everybody
who you
here.
are, please. I know who you are, but...
I don't know who everybody is.
Mark is from Stapleton.
Mark? Who?
Art.
Art.
Your question was in regards to gun laws?
Yes.
You're talking about an ordinance in regards
In a
to...
township, I mean,
Yeah. You're talking
it's
about...
like, where I live is like living in the hood,
Yeah.
okay? And a dude's out there shooting this gun. I was in here, Terry called because they're racing these quad runners, 4 of them around their house.
Yeah.
There's a noise ordinance.
Okay.
Plus there's a gun ordinance. And I looked it up, it looks like you gotta be 450 feet away.
Yeah, that's a state law. Yes. And my suggestion would be call the DNR if you have a concern about people shooting in the area, in your area, or
I mean,
It's
these
too
people
close to
are 100
buildings
feet
or
away
whatever.
from me, and they're out there shooting these guns.
call the DNR.
Okay.
If they don't respond, call the state police. Yeah.
All right.
Actually, they're the ones that govern that.
I mean, and these neighbors think that they're legal.
Yeah.
Well, if I put a bunker up, I said,
Well,
you're right next door to me.
St. Clair County may respond as well. Dave, what would your suggestion be on an issue
I
like
think
that?
you pretty much got it covered. Maybe the order of state police first, because you potentially have an emergency situation there. Because if you feel threatened, call the state police. I think they'll be Johnny on the spot. Also, I believe if you call the St. Clair County Sheriff, they will at least have a county incident report. Each and every time that may happen. Make sure it's warranted, because, I shoot. We didn't shoot this weekend. We intended to, but we didn't.
Yeah, but you have a 200 88 acres out there.
Right, I understand.
Not bothering anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, just across the, not even across the street from this guy.
Your neighbor, and I don't want, just, you want to hurry the meeting, how big property does he have?
We have about 3.5
Not to
acres.
your neighbor.
About 3 acres.
That means he cannot shoot on his property, right?
Well, what about the neighbor next to it? He just dumped all this dirt, and, I mean, they're out there shooting.
They have enough land, they can't keep the setback, I believe the state police or the DNR will say, you cannot shoot on this property, yes, flat out. They make an incident report, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
that's.
So, yeah, follow up with them, Mark.
All right, thanks, sir.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Any other citizen wishing to address the board tonight? Yes, please be brief.
Identify yourself too, please, so I don't have to know
Sorry.
everybody.
Rita Adamco. Okay, I live on Griffin Road next to that commercial hot barn.
Yes.
Okay, the guy hasn't come by, that was supposed to talk about the lights, that's like a stadium in our backyard.
Okay.
I don't know how long that's gonna take, I know the man that was doing it passed away, you hired someone else in between that.
He's here tonight.
Yeah, the Arts Enforcement Officer is here tonight. Fred, you want to bring us up to date on that?
Yeah, I've contacted him by phone, I had to leave a message and I sent out a letter to him,
Okay.
informing him that he had to put,
Shields on the
the lights. As far as the marijuana, I haven't seen anything as far as permission or permits, through the township, so it's.
And I know you wanna wrap this up quickly, but real quick, that he's in violation of the electrical bolts that he's pulling, sucking out of the grid over there. He's in total conflict with you guys with the, you know.
Well, he
that's
did-
what
He can only pull the service that he has with DT.
Yeah, he,
Yeah, but DTE says it's against this ordinance.
he did go through our,
Physically happen.
Oh, did?
let me answer that. He did go through our permit process, so the electrical inspector was out there at the time he put up that building and wired it. So we're fully aware of what's going on out there as far as his service and how much, how large a service he has. So right now, our concern, first and foremost, are his lights. We've had those complaints numerous times, and that's why Fred's addressing it and working with him right now. So we'll find out what else he may be in violation of. if
That's
anything
great,
out
because
there.
that's a very, the lights are irritating, but it's very
Yeah.
small drop in the bucket
Right.
of what the hell he's
They're not
got
on every
going
night
over
though, are
there.
they?
Pardon me?
They're not on every night? Because I went out there 2 nights and they weren't on.
They're on every night.
Are they?
Yeah.
Might have been during one of the blackouts.
They're on around 10.
Yeah, they're on a.
Yeah, it's not there, so if a deer walks by or something.
No, they're on, they're on, yeah.
Okay,
You were up there, Fred?
yeah.
Okay. And you were not, you didn't see the lights on the night you were out?
The night that I was out there.
Okay, well, make another trip out there.
One was
You get a
before
chance,
9:30, the other was after I.
You're welcome to come anytime you're there. Beside, our dog can't get to where his lights are, it's right there, and we can walk through.
We will follow up on that.
I mean, like I said, that's.
Make another trip
small
out there and see what you
irritation.
see.
He's got a lot of
Right,
other crap
okay,
going
the
on.
lights are on or something. All right, thank you. We will follow up on that and see what we can find. Fred's been working on it, he'll continue to work on it and find out why they're not shielded when he's gonna have them shielded. The lights.
Yeah, he didn't answer the call and he left a message and he never called.
You sent him a letter?
I sent a letter.
Okay, good.
That's where we're at now, it's a letter giving him X amount of days to take care of it.
All right. Hey, just follow up with that so we know we get his attention. All right, any other citizens wishing to address the board tonight? Yes, please be brief. Deb, tell us who you are, where are you from?
I'm Marion, I live on Griffin. I noticed that we have the meeting minutes from the special meeting on June 15th. Do we have them for the 6:25?
We haven't got to the minutes yet.
Still there. Did you?
Dawn can answer
I
that
didn't
question.
see 6:25. Did I saw 6:15?
Yeah, they were all
Oh, okay, Kyle.
He's there.
All right, thank you. And is that also going to be recorded for the last few meetings? And on the website, it says it's recorded on Zoom. I didn't see that one.
I have not had a chance to get into
But
the
they're
actual
going to,
website.
but they're going to?
They are being audio recorded, so, and I'm just now getting to that access,
Okay,
so.
all right, great, thank you.
You're welcome. We had another resident wanted to address the board.
I'm Ron Page, I live on Evelyn Road,
Okay,
2390 Evelyn. 2 years ago, this stake was put in the ground when I tried to do something about draining my road. There's a culvert crossing by my road that can drain from one side to the other, and it won't form a lake on this side.
Okay.
And I know this is not the road commission. I've called them 3 times now.
Okay.
So I just thought that maybe you people might be able to talk over. The date was 6/6/19,
Okay.
and I have called 4 times, or
You've called the county road commission on it? You've called the county road commission on it?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And they, what was their
They
response?
told me that they were gonna put me on the schedule at 6/6/19 for the following year, that they would come out and deal with this problem.
Okay.
And then I got it again from another road commissioner that is in Riley Township, somebody that approves the gravel or whatever it is that needs to be used in the road.
All right.
Can I,
Please.
I'm
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
We had a phone call from Andrew, who then was supposed to be taking over for, the other gentleman that was the supervisor. And he said he was gonna come here and talk to somebody here at the township office and see if maybe they could get some kind of clearance as to help out with this,
Okay.
this
That's
flooding.
true, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Where are you at on Egling Road? What's your nearest crossroad?
Dunn Road, I'm,
Dunn.
half a mile.
Okay.
5,000.
All right.
Something about
I'm
ditching.
south of Dunn Road.
Okay.
Now, they came by 4 years ago and said they wanted to ditch right in front of our house. And we said, no, we don't want that.
You just need it to drain.
Yeah.
There's a
pipe
culvert
there.
there
All
that
right.
seems to be blocked, and nobody wants to do anything.
Well, we're doing ditching right now in the township, so I will contact the county, give them your address, and ask the foreman to stop out there and talk to you about it.
Any help would be
Yeah,
appreciated.
find out if it's a plug culvert, or it needs to be reset, or whatever the problem might
All
be.
right, very good.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, Steve?
I'm not sure who you are, Mr. Pay, I just.
Yeah.
But, my suggestion is always call Allen Township. If you can't get them, you call me, I've got Kurt Weston, I know Al doesn't mind, I do that numerous times.
You ain't curious, huh?
All you gotta do is call, and I would have, Johnny on the spot out there.
All right, well, you know, I gave persistent time, and
Yeah.
it failed.
Well, we'll get somebody out there for you. Between Dave and I, we'll definitely get somebody out there.
Thank you.
If either of us can't do it, I'll turn trustee
Well, every
Dave
time I
on.
go out there, I get in trouble. I mean, I have to, it's
You know where he's at?
fine.
No.
Because I dug
So
it
are you-
out, I said, I'm cleaning out a pond.
Are you on the southeast side?
What was your
Southeast corner of
address?
Dunn?
Yeah,
2390.
south-
2390?
Okay.
Yeah, we're coming south, down the road.
All right, we'll check into it. All right, we will follow up on that. Any other citizens tonight wishing to address the board? All right, I will take that as a no. Let's move on with our meeting this evening. I don't have any guest speakers
Can I
scheduled.
say one thing?
Yes.
Great news, at our committee meeting, last Thursday, following Thursday, this coming Thursday, not this week, but the following, Memphis School District has contracted, or going to contract with the St. Clair County Sheriff Department to have a full-time sheriff in their schools. And with state law, and we're already working with the sheriff of Macomb County, Wichita, I believe his name is, and he appreciates St. Clair County coming there, so he can take care of both sides, the Macomb County side and the elementary school, I believe that's on the north side. But by state law, they have a mile radius outside their county if needed, and they worked it out. And we'll have an extra deputy sheriff for the county, and if need something in the township, an emergency, he can move the school together. It's good enough for the township and our students.
All right, great. Thank you, Dave. Let's move on tonight on our agenda, communications and correspondence. John, you'll have to navigate us through this.
Yeah, we had the, email from, Jeff White, gave us the plan on,
Yes, I did see that. That's the new floor plan on the building.
Yep.
Okay.
what he submitted to us.
Yeah. That's just for our communication tonight, our understanding of what they're doing here. He did email this to us, did he not?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we've seen that. Any other correspondence tonight or communications we need to be made aware of? All right, move along then. We have a number of, well, let's do the agenda first. Is there any additions tonight to the agenda? I have just one. I will put it under old business. That would be zoning administrator, number 2, under unfinished business. Any other additions to the agenda tonight? All right, is there a motion to approve with that one addition?
I'll make that motion.
All right,
I'll second it.
we have a motion with support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, we have meeting minutes tonight from June 1st, June 15th, and June 25th. Got me correct, Dawn?
Yes.
All right. Have you had a chance to review those? Are there any corrections?
I have one correction on June 1st,
Okay?
that maybe you can clarify for me since I wasn't present at that meeting.
Okay.
Was there public, was there comments from the public held at that meeting?
On June 1st?
That was a regular meeting?
Boy, I am not sure about that.
Did you hear comments from the public at that meeting?
I did not, but that doesn't mean there weren't any.
Right. Because if you took comments or input from the public at any time at that meeting, we can add, comments from the public was held. And I'd like to add that if you recall that you took comments from the public.
Yeah, I had to go back to my notes, Dawn, to answer that question. Yeah, let's take a quick look.
Yeah, there
Never mind.
was,
Wait a minute,
there
you
was,
guys worded it correct differently, sorry, you do, never mind.
Okay, you got
Disregard
it?
that, yeah, got it.
All right.
You guys worded differently than us in the planning commission.
Okay. All right, any other corrections on those minutes from July, let's see, July 6th? No, it's tonight. I'm sorry, June 1st, June 15th. There's so many minutes here, I'm getting confused, and June 25th. Keep me straight here, trustees. If there are no corrections, is there a motion to...
I'll make a motion to approve,
Let's do them one at a time.
June 1st, 2021 meeting minutes.
I'll second
All
that.
right, motion with support to approve the minutes as presented from June 1st. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. What about the minutes from June 15th?
I'll make a motion to approve June 15th, 2021 meeting minutes.
All right.
I'll second.
Great. All in favor to approve those minutes from June 15th as presented?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. And we have one more special meeting minutes from June 25th.
I'll make a motion to approve June 25th, 2021 meeting minutes.
All right, is there support for that motion?
I'll second that.
Maronowski supports. All in favor of approving the special meeting minutes from June 25th?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, we have a treasurer's report tonight before us. Is there any questions for the treasurer on that report? I have none. I looked it over prior to, so. Any questions from the rest of the board? If not, is there a motion to approve as presented?
I'll make that motion to approve the treasurer's report.
All right, I'll support that. We need a roll call vote.
Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel.
Yes.
Mike Rushing.
Yes.
Al Titus.
Yes.
Don Biam, yes.
Motion carried. All right, let's move on tonight. First report.
Sorry. That report's for people.
Pardon me?
Yeah, I corrected it in the computer, but I already printed these.
All right. What do you have for us during the report, Dawn?
Okay. Alrighty. Unfortunately, the first item, expenses and invoices report,
Okay.
we've been pretty plagued with a great deal of technical difficulties. So in my
Internet?
internet,
Internet,
server, power, pretty much everything under the sun. So in my last attempt to get them in today, as I got into a couple of invoices, power goes out. So
Yeah, we had lots of problems here.
great deal of
last-
challenges. I'm hoping to, so really the expenses that I pretty much kind of have, what I gave you here, what we were able to, let's see here, there were no direct deposits, so accounts payable is still in progress. So really for the item number 1, I don't have anything to report other than the remittance checks that you see on the sheet that I had given you.
Okay.
Remittance checks number 24657 through 24661 at a total of $4,054.64. The remaining items are all related to payroll.
Okay.
And those were all done through written checks this period. We could not do direct deposit. We could not do ACH, and as of right now, because of the system failures that we've been having, we have not been able to do EFT as well either. So I can only state that on my report are the payroll checks total. Check numbers 24633 through 24655 at a total of $13,987.26. Pay stubs, that was actually ran as a secondary payroll because it didn't go through in the first batch. Pay stubs number 303 through 307 at a total of $1,130. And an EFT that's in progress right now until I can get the system fixed. There are 2 pending EFTs, which is number 57 and 58 at a total of $814.26.
Okay.
There are, I had some help from an area township clerk. When we ran checks late Wednesday night, got the checks done. There's a second part to the process once you actually get the checks done to do the remittance checks. Something wasn't right. We had several power failures, internet failures on that Wednesday, and contacting the BSNA software for help, they were unable to remotely log in to see what happened. The other clerk that was helping me verified that what she was seeing on her screen was not right. It was not how she does it, because she just absolutely loves BSNA and knows it really well, and it wasn't looking right to her either. And BSA pretty much kind of told me, says, well, when you get your internet fixed, we can't fix it until we can get in. So that is a serious, serious issue that we've been really looking at. I know it's been an ongoing issue, but it's even more pertinent now because we have this fix that needs to be done in the systems like now, yesterday. But these are the transactions that I have to present
So
and be approved.
you need board action from us tonight to approve these.
I do, and there are some expenses and invoices that I do need to talk about, even though I don't have them in the system. sorry, the bond refunds too. I have one bond refund that needs to be approved as well too. Bond number BN 200006 for $1,000. That needs to be approved.
We did have the paperwork on the bond.
Yep, I gave you a copy of that.
Just the one bond?
Just the one bond is all that was submitted to me. Then, oh. Two invoices in particular, three. The MTA dues invoice that was submitted into me, the grand total of this was calculated incorrectly. So on the minutes, I didn't really see an actual tally of this invoice. I know in talking with Mike, he thought that this invoice was already approved for the dues and for the dues and the premium pass for the training across the board.
Yeah, that wasn't approved.
Okay, well, there was a calculation error in the invoice. So the annual dues plus the legal defense fund was a total of $2,521.71. The premium pass for the webinar training is $1,900.
That's what we approved.
That
So,
was approved too, wasn't it, Mike?
The 1,900 was.
Yeah.
right, but the invoice total was incorrect. They had it at $2,540.71 when the actual for both the dues, the legal defense fund, and the premium pass comes to $4,421.71. So that needs to be, that amount needs, we can't pay for the dues and not get the premium pass.
Yeah. So let's take these one at a time. You've got three here listed, 1, 2, 3. Let's take them one at a time, starting with one, and whatever action we need there from the board tonight, make a motion, please.
Okay. So, number one, I really don't have anything except for these invoices, these three invoices I need to go through.
All right.
So do you want to go through those three invoices to approve on item number one?
I really don't want to go through them tonight.
I know.
You just give us a summary or overview of it. Do you need board action on that?
Yes.
Well, then make a motion, please.
Okay, I need a motion to pay MTA dues invoice dated May 15, 2021 for a total of $4,421.71 for the annual dues and the premium pass.
All right. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
All right. I'll support it. You want to do a roll call on that, Dawn?
Okay. Dwayne Hagel?
Yes.
Mark Baranowski?
Yes.
Al Titus?
Yes.
Dave Rushing, sorry.
Mike Rushing.
Mike Rushing.
Yes.
Don Beam, yes.
Motion carried. And let's go to number 2 then, motion to approve the bond refund. I think you said there was only one?
Yeah, there was just the one.
All right. Give us that number on that again,
Yes,
please,
I
if
will.
you have it there.
I do. BN 20006 for $1,000.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve that refund of that bond.
I'll second.
Which one? Two?
I'll second it.
Okay. And roll call?
Yes, please.
All righty. Don Beam, yes. Mark Baranowski?
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel?
Yes.
Mike Rushing?
Yes.
Al Titus?
Yes, motion carried. And what do we need on number 3 there? Motion to approve checks written,
Yep.
ACH and EFT transactions.
Yep, that would be this handout
Okay. You-
that I have reported to you. Okay, so that would be for the payroll checks of $13,987.26, the pay stubs for $1,130, the EFTs for $814.26, the remittance checks for $4,054.64 for a total of $19,986.16.
Okay, you need, board approval on that tonight? Would you make the motion, please?
Yep. Motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
All we need then is a roll call vote.
Okay. Mike Rushing?
Yes.
Al Titus?
Yes.
Mark Baranowski?
Yes.
Al Titus, no, I already called you.
I'll do it again.
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel, sorry. I'm trying to mix it up, really. Don Beam, yes.
Motion carried. All right, let's move on to township news and announcements. What announcements and news does the board have tonight for us? I had a question I think I could put under announcements tonight on news. We had talked about the millage form to the county for the park and rec form. Were you able to?
I talked with them, they said as long as it's in before the end of the year, and we're waiting for the auditors to come through on
Okay.
19th,
So that'll
Yeah,
probably-
July 19th is when the auditors will be here.
and then they're gonna help me finish filling it out
Okay.
correctly.
All right.
And which one was that now?
For the park and the park?
Parks and Recs millage,
Oh, okay.
$16,000.
What about that other,
Oh, the COVID money?
yeah, COVID check?
We're supposed to get a form on that we have to fill out in return. Yeah, have you heard anything about the COVID money that's?
We should've got that back in June.
My best guess, $63 million for St. Clair County. The county's gonna get 50% of that. The balance is going to the 31 municipalities. And the actual specifics, of course, I let Terry Hefty take care of that. She just lets us know what the money can be used for. And there's still some strings that have to be attached, or so you can't just arbitrarily do anything. So that'll be guidelines that you need to do. But I would suggest you talk to Bill Eater's clerk if needed, or any other township clerk, and even the county if you wanted to. And Dave Struck, he's probably going to be getting some, and we talked right now with Don, so he'd be more than willing to help you out.
Yeah, because it said 2 payments, May of 2021 and then March of 2022 for a total of about $323,000.
All right, well, if you hear any more on it at the county level, let us know.
You guys are going to do meet and greet and go?
Yeah, we'll have to do it. Right, I know we'll have to do our paperwork.
At the county, and I believe this is true, that the county level, we're in control of it. The state's going to be sending their money to you directly.
All right, we'll follow up on that and see what we can find out. Any other announcements or township news tonight the board wants to bring to our attention?
We did talk to the internet company, they're putting in a more powerful transmitter, being next week, so hopefully our internet problems go away.
Fingers crossed, we're kind of tied, but yeah, they're gonna upgrade the tower that's up there and try to hopefully bring us a stronger signal. They were out again today.
All right. Okay, anything else under township news and announcements? I don't have anything. If not, then we'll move on to committee reports. Planning Commission.
Let's see. We discussed section 924, the fence and wall ordinance, possible change of wording. We also discussed section 905, accessory buildings, to possibly add the storage containers. And I think, if I got this right, Doug, talked to you guys about amending fireworks ordinance to have local fire department standby for possible, then possibly add $250 charge for standby. Now, that's just large fireworks display?
Yeah, that's
So,
Commercial one.
yeah. So he just, planning commission wanted me to talk to you guys about that, on the large displays like that. To amend the fireworks ordinance, to have, or not this.
Now it's considered a large display.
Is there any other townships doing that though?
What's that?
Is there any other townships doing that?
I honestly don't know.
Let's check. Sounds like a great idea to me, though.
Yeah.
Have to stand by it.
I mean, even the Memphis Days fireworks, we often put out small fires that occur because of that.
Like that.
So, the same thing's gonna happen out in the township, that
Yeah.
fireworks are doing.
How do you know who's putting on an excessive or?
Something with a large display.
They have to come get a permit.
And pull from this.
Yeah, they're supposed to, yeah.
So every person that's letting fireworks off still pull permits?
Well, I don't know what the line is.
No, I'm saying like the 4th of July, it's ridiculous.
No, if they're.
If they do it correctly, they're supposed to go pull a permit.
Commercial grade fireworks, not the consumer grade that you can buy.
So would that be considered like a 4-inch mortar or larger,
Or they're
or?
hiring someone else to set them up,
Right,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. Or they're outsourcing it.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I do too. We'll
I
look at
think like the
that.
neighbor, he was putting out some nice ones, but I know he was doing it himself.
Yeah, we'll take another look at that and probably will, at least my thought, is we'll amend that and to include the fire department to stand by anytime there's a permit issued for a fireworks display, a commercial fireworks display. Anything else, let's see what we got on there. Park and Rec, anything there, Dwayne?
Do you want to add this while we're talking about Park and Rec? Or, okay, obviously they've been working on the fencing that you have, the bids in front of you. What else? They talked about possibly rubber mulch instead of this wood mulch like every other year, so we're working on that. And, yeah, so this is the picket fencing, the first picture, and then at the bottom is the solid vinyl privacy fence, which would separate our township from the house back here. I do have another bid that just came in about 5 o'clock tonight. I didn't have time to print it off, but he was about $600 higher for each one. So yeah, let me see. And this is through Mid-Michigan Family Builders. So the total job would be $53.78. That's a 6-foot by 8-foot veranda Dover vinyl picket privacy panels. And then that would be $5,425 total job. That's for the picket fencing. And it's about 2 days to order and about 31 days to get it and about 2 days to put it up.
How many lineal feet is it?
176.
176?
Yep.
And you said you have to talk to Polaris?
Basically, it's going to be a boundary.
Yeah.
It's more of a boundary, not a privacy, but a boundary.
Okay.
Yeah, so this fence, the main one, is not going to go all the way to the road ditch.
Okay.
About halfway.
Is it gonna be, so there is gonna be some sort of gap, or is it gonna be right down to the base?
He didn't say.
Depends on the contour of the property.
I think typically they hold it up a couple inches.
Couple inches?
Yeah,
Okay.
for snow and stuff.
Okay. I think that's a very good idea.
I
I
actually
mean, we've
thought it was-
always had problems.
I thought that bill would come in twice that price, I really did.
Yeah, the problem with the area that we're discussing is the fact that when people are in the park, they don't know where the park starts
Yeah.
and stops.
Yep.
So especially the kids, we want them to have a boundary there so they know that, okay, you're off the park, you're on the neighbors or whatever. So have Park and Rec follow up with that and see if we can get that something going on.
Do you need
Yeah,
board,
but
do
no,
you
this
need
is,
board
this
approval?
is, yeah.
You want
Tonight?
approval on
But
that
it's,
tonight?
they just want to know what you guys want to decide, either the privacy fence or the picket
Well,
fence. Yeah, they're ready to go.
Okay.
So-
I like the
Personally, I like the picket fence just
Right.
because you don't really need privacy with kids in there.
Right, right.
You make it too private and then there's gonna be, teenagers and stuff doing it.
Yeah, spray paint, yes.
Well, I'm thinking other stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like the picket as well, not necessarily privacy.
yeah.
What do you think, Mark?
I like the picket myself also.
Don?
So which bid is that then?
That's the 4x8 veranda vinyl picket fencing.
Yep,
So-
so it'll be 4 foot high, 8 foot long.
So the total will be 5425?
Yep. And those, I've seen this guy's work before.
Okay.
Those are 42 inches or deeper. We put concrete pad in them.
I'll make a motion that, to approve the 4x8 veranda vinyl picket fencing to be installed at the property line at, Park.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and support. You want a roll call on it? Better have one, I guess, Don.
Yep. Mike Rushing,
Yes.
Al Titus,
Yes.
Dwayne Hago,
Yes.
Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Don Beam, yes.
Motion carried.
Just curious with this, do you talk to him at all if he comes with any sort of warranty? If like ice starts to heat it up?
I can call them back.
They'll stand behind our product. I'm sure.
They called, Greg was the one in charge of the fence most companies average 7 months to a year behind, because they can't get the material, this guy can get it.
Yeah. All right.
I have a question for Dwayne.
Sure.
Sure.
Do you have a current schedule calendar when you guys meet?
The fourth Monday of every month. When's their last one?
Fourth Monday of every month?
Yep.
Is that hail or rain?
They don't have one in October, November, December, or January. They're 4 months off.
Can you put that, can you shoot me an email or text message that, so that way I can print it up for you? Do you guys make a motion to make that schedule in one of your next meeting minutes?
Yeah, that was quite a lot, yeah.
For this current year, not the last fiscal year, because the one thing I saw on the posted was last year's. So if you can get me those meeting minutes, I'll type it up so with
Okay,
those
or I'll just
perfect.
figure on a calendar, and I'll just send it.
That way I can update it, the posting on the, in the office.
All right, we have a motion and support on the table. If there's no further discussion, we'd like a roll call vote, please.
For,
The picket fence.
we did.
Did we do that already?
We did.
We're all done? We're all set? I tell you, I'm out of sync tonight. All right, zoning board of appeals.
No meeting.
Ordinance enforcement. The board have any questions for the ordinance enforcement officer tonight? I have one. These two different properties on Riley Center Road, one is south and one is north, that we have had, still have court judgments on. You had mentioned that you'd spoken with both of those parties about the cleanup that needs to be done there. Have you sent a letter to them?
I have not yet, I've met with him personally. I know that Mr. Taylor has made a lot of headway in what he's doing, cleaning up his mess. I know there they had removed some stuff and still.
Did you give them a time frame as to when they need to be cleaned up there in compliance?
Yeah, I told him that I'd be back just about this week or.
Follow up because these guys, at least the one south here, do very little. And if we don't stay with them, they'll drag us out like they did
I
before.
gotta do, take some more pictures when I go up there this week, and then,
Send them a letter,
I'll send the letter.
give them a deadline,
Yeah.
30-day deadline. If they're not in compliance, in the letter, tell them that they have to appear before this board within 30 days. Because then we can question them as to why it isn't cleaned up yet, what they're doing about it, and where it's headed next. I guess I say that, Fred, because I know these two in particular. And if you don't push them, they're not going to do anything. So
Like I
stay
said,
with them.
I've met them and I've never met them before, so I'm taking them at their words when they say that they're gonna.
Make sure they get a letter.
And going back.
Make sure they get a letter with a time frame on it, as to when they have to appear before the board, and contact you, and discuss whatever's going on there, because,
Don't have it in writing, it never happened.
it never happens. If they don't get a letter, it never happens. So stay with them and make sure they get letters, at least those two. Any further word on the one on Huff Road?
Which one is that?
The one that Florence had spoken to us about where the cars were, and they looked like they were erecting a fence or something.
I've sent the letter out there.
Okay.
So the letter was two-part. One was to stop all building, and the other was to move.
Okay. Have you had any response back from them?
I have not.
Stay with
I
them.
tried to stop there as well,
Yeah.
but nobody would answer.
You did send a letter, though.
I did send a letter hoping that they had the time
All right.
to clean it up.
Good. Yeah, stick with them because we learned in the fall that if you don't, nothing happens. So once you send a letter, make sure you follow up. And again, give them a date when they have to appear before this board to explain why they're not.
I've sent out 5 letters. They have not told them they have to appear before the board, but I did give them a time frame.
All right, well, include that in your letter. And if you're not cleaned up by a certain date, usually we give them 30 days, they need to appear before the board and explain why they're not and how much more time it is. Okay? Appreciate that. Any other questions for Brett tonight on ordinance enforcement? Yes.
Unless you change the format, back years ago, we did municipal civil infractions. So once you give them the date and ask them to appear here, if they do not appear at the meeting, these guys can say, okay, here's your first $100 citation. That's what it takes to appear, rather than have to wait for another month. I got a 60-day window rather than 30 days. This would give you guys, if you put the other, whatever out direction you do with the board direction. That would definitely get some attention that if they don't get cleaned up or respond to this board with an explanation, then you can issue $100 fine, starting at $100, goes up to $500.
I don't know that I
That
have the
pertains
authority
to the
to.
lighting too?
We have that ordinance in place, Brad. You do, the board can certainly act on that. We haven't used that because Paul only used it once. When they got before a magistrate, he threw it out. And so it's like, why are we going to go through that process if the court isn't going to follow through and bring some kind of penalty against them, or fine, or whatever. So, I'd say for right now, let's just make sure they have a letter and a date.
And I think I have mentioned in the letters that I sent them that they could, or would be called or something by the board or the city or township.
Well, if you have any questions on the wording of the letter, just get with me. I think Paul had already drafted a letter and used it, that you had the wording in there about them appearing before the board. So look back on that stuff. If you don't have it, let us know. We'll help you draft one and find it. Okay? Thanks, Brad. All right, unfinished business. We have roads tonight. And that's unfinished. Wayne, I know you've been communicating with Brennan as I have. Give us what you have.
Okay, I talk to him almost every day. But anyways, they did ditching on Masters Road, east of Kelvin. That's all done. The Dunn Road culvert, you should have in front of you. Okay, that culvert is $16,500 replaced at approximately.
Is that the township share?
No, the township would pay about $8,250. We can also use, we have about $9,800 left over match money, which we can use that money. That's for whatever, ditching or berming.
Yeah.
We can use that money towards that Dunn Road culvert if we like. But the bad news is the Adrian Road Bridge project is $142,000.
And what's the
And
township?
the board will pay $71,000. I talked to Brendan again today. I said, it's just a 10-foot culvert. He said, well, it's gonna end up looking approximately like Huff Road for that little road.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to speak with Kurt Weston because, when we did the Huff Road Bridge,
We only paid like $25,000.
yeah, our share was only, after we did the local road assistance, was only about $25,000. And that total project was like 330. This project is 141, and they're asking 71,000 from the township for that?
Well, and if you remember, Florence did a lot on this and had me contact our state rep. We got our state senator involved, and then the governor signed to add additional funds just for that, for the budget. So that's how it got to the 25,000.
Can you do it again?
What's that?
Can you do it again?
I don't think with our current governor.
I mean, I don't know why
Very
this
nice
thing is
to
so
see, the
expensive.
other side. But I believe if you, I think this would actually qualify for the COVID funds.
That's what I was gonna ask.
So you guys get the money, and you might be 4 months down the road, talk to the road commission, and it needs a Band-Aid or close.
Right.
But once you get the money in, if it qualifies, then you can, right away.
Brennan also, we got ditching lined up for Masters and Kelvin Road.
Yeah.
So on the north side of Masters, a lot of ditching in there, which he wanted to do first. He said, put that in top priority, so it's either that one or Dunn Road. He said,
So what do you want to do with that Dunn Road culvert? We've had residents calling on that saying the
it was
culvert's
patched
bad.
about 2 years ago. They dug the road up, put a patch on it, and then covered back up. I stopped and looked at it. Yeah, it's probably a 3-foot tube, I think. And there is probably 3 or 4 yards of gravel inside the culvert. But I stopped and looked at it again last week, and after all that 5 inches of rain, nothing happened, so.
Yeah, I spoke to the resident as well, and I asked him, I said, well, all this rain we had a couple of weeks ago, did it drain? Are you flooded? And he said, no, I'm not flooded. And I thought, well, the culvert must be functional, or he would have been flooded out. That was his concern. So what was the township share on that again?
8250, approximately, like 9,000.
Well, the board needs to make a decision on both of these tonight because,
Yeah, because that Masters, there's a lot of problems over here.
right.
Masters and Calvin Road, and they already did the ditching on the south side of the road, so they got that cleaned up. I really think we should take care of the north side, then they'll take care of all the problems.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, we can do Dunn Road next year.
All right, I'm gonna start with the Egland Road, and I'm gonna make a motion to table that until we can find out when we're gonna have this COVID money, and if we can use it for that project. So I'll make a motion to table it.
I'll second.
All right. Any other discussion before we vote? All right. All in favor of tabling the Egland Road project, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. What do we want to do with the Dunn Road project?
Well, I would say if we can use that match money, go ahead and do it.
Have it done.
But if we do Dunn Road, we're not gonna do Masters Road ditching.
Yeah, we're rounding fingers,
They
baby.
already did like 700 feet of ditching over here in Masters.
Well, if it was more critical, they would either shut it down, put a plate over it, or put a weight restriction on it, and they haven't, correct?
No,
Okay.
no, they have not.
My thoughts, hopefully we can do Dunn Road next year. I say take care of Masters Road now, because they're over there and they did, it's gonna be perfect.
We take care of Masters now, and if that COVID money comes through, we can get all these projects done.
Exactly.
All right, Wayne, why don't you make a motion? I know you've been working closely with Brennan.
Okay, I'll make a motion to, I guess, cancel the Dunn Road culvert, or
Cancel a table.
table it, and then I get a hold of Brennan tomorrow to continue on Masters Road ditching.
I'll second that.
Emergency lighting in there? I don't think so.
Call cell phones.
Nope.
All right.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion
Table.
and support. Any further discussion? All right,
Yes,
okay.
I just thought of something. Was Masters Road approved, that ditching,
I think so. I think that's.
Do you know if it was?
Already.
by chance?
Yeah, I think it was approved. We can check on that and find out. If not, we'll have to.
I think we approved
I
everything.
think we did. I think Masters Road is.
Okay, I'd like to change my motion then, somehow. If this board approved it, whatever, 4 or 5 months ago,
Yeah, that's true.
I would like
Already in
to,
the works.
I would like to make a motion to replace the Dunn Road culvert.
What?
If, I'd make a
It's been
motion
approved.
to,
The ditching's been approved. I remember approving it.
okay, so if that's the case, then I'd make a motion to replace the Dunn Road
So you're
culvert.
rescinding your motion to table.
Because I think you're right, that was approved months ago.
And I'll second that.
Okay, so we're going to, to complete your motion, because I'm getting just the pieces, you're going to, we rescinded the tabling, and then your motion is now to replace
The Dunn Road culvert,
the Dunn Road culvert, so thank you,
west of Riley Center Road.
west of Riley Center
And you
Road.
want to give her an amount?
Approximately $16,500 total,
16,000, how much?
$16,500.
500, at least it's audio recording, that's
That's
okay.
total cost.
I thought there was emergency lighting in this building, but
I thought we had
Might as
it.
well open the shades, huh?
Okay, so,
Yeah.
we could do a roll call before we, I can see. Computer light, there we go.
Yeah, so if that was approved,
Oh, that was a big room.
Yeah, that took a transformer out.
So then we only have to
Okay.
worry about just speaking.
we'll wait out. So we have
I'll
a
call
mo-
Brennan in the morning.
All right, we have a motion and support that we knocked off?
Oh, sorry, I can't hear, and our audio can't hear over.
Yeah. Okay, we're trying to finish, please, if you could, Don, would you say that again, please? We do have a motion and support.
Yes, we have a motion made by Dwayne Hagel to replace the Dunn Road culvert west of Riley Center Road for, what was the amount,
16,500.
500? Okay. Yep,
All right.
Motion is
We need a
second.
roll call on that.
yep, and Mark Baranowski seconded.
All right.
Okay,
So let's do a roll call on that, cover replacement.
okay. Al Titus,
Yes.
Mike Rushing,
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel,
Yes.
Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Don Beam, yes.
Motion carried. All right, that takes care of it on roads, I think, tonight, does it not?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I had added something here under unfinished business, and that was zoning administrator. A couple of months ago, I asked for an increase in the zoning administrator's pay from $250 to $600 a month. And he's paid by 2 other townships to the tune of $600 a month. And we spoke today about his responsibilities and job description, and he has informed me that he is not going to be able to continue at what he's being paid now for Riley Township. His workload has increased significantly with the medical marijuana stuff that's going on in our community. So he's asking for what the other townships are paying, and again, if the board doesn't see their way clear to pay the $600 a month, we're going to be looking for another zoning administrator. So I know for a fact that the 2 townships Jim works for other than Riley do pay him $600 a month. I would not do the job personally for what he's being paid now, and I think the board needs to reconsider tonight and pay him what the other townships are paying. And if we want to come back to this at a later date and revisit it and make a different decision, so be it. But that's my recommendation to the board, to pay him what the other townships are being paid, so that he can continue at least for now. I will make that into a motion, and then we can discuss it and see what we want to do. So I will make a motion that we increase the zoning administrator's pay to $600 a month, and if there's support for that, we'll discuss it.
I'll support that.
All right, discussion? Mark, Wayne,
Nope.
Don? No discussion? All right, then we will vote. Do that on roll call, please, Don.
Okay. Mark Baranowski,
Yes.
Mike Rushing,
Yes.
Don Beam, yes. Al Titus,
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel.
No.
Okay, motion is carried, and we will increase his salary to $600 a month, and see how that works. All right, new business, electrical inspector. We have 2 resumes, if I'm not mistaken, before us tonight. 2 that have applied for the electrical inspector position that's open. Would the board like someone to interview these people? I know Mike and I are willing, at least I am.
Sure.
And if the board would like to have us interview them and see if we feel they're qualified, we'll bring a recommendation back to the board as to what we think we should do with these 2 resumes that are before us. What do you want to do with this? Do you want us to set up interviews and?
Sure.
All right, make a motion to that effect.
I'll make that motion.
All right,
I'll second it.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We will set up the interviews and see what kind of recommendation we'll bring back to the board on that. Resignation letter. We had a lot of those lately. We had one tonight too, huh? Is that yours, Dawn?
Yes, that's mine. You have that. I gave that to you on the 25th, remember?
All right. I do want to make you aware tonight that you cannot be appointed as elected official and hold an employee position. However, once you've resigned, the board does have the authority to reinstate you to that paid position, if we so choose to. That's MTA's direction. Now, I'm sure you're not going to have time to continue as planning secretary with what you've taken on now.
No, the planning commission, there's actually this, you have your secretary, and then you can have your recording secretary.
Okay.
So, with Michelle Daly Brown offering for taking over the secretary position, we can transition her into that.
Okay.
But yeah, I submitted my resignation for, as a planning commission member.
All right. I will make a motion to accept Dawn's letter of resignation from the planning commission.
I'll second it.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, moving on to new business tonight, we have front office. as number 3. I would assume that means taking action to replace the front office employees that have resigned. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do we want to, I would suggest we publish those positions or position and see what kind of response we get.
I would say to post for administrative assistant / building secretary.
All right.
And the other position I'd like to propose would be a deputy clerk assistant. That would be, instead of the $50 a month, would actually be someone that would be in the office with a monthly salary, working side by side in the office with the administrative assistant, so that way there would be 2 bodies in the office.
Wouldn't that be what we had
No.
previously?
No.
How would that be
Now,
different?
there's 3 kinds of deputies that you can have. There's pretty much what Don Salicki is now to Mike, which is pretty much a standby, somebody who already did the position, knows the entire position, was a former person in that role, knows everything all in the ins and outs, and they're pretty much a on-call standby clerk for whenever you are not available.
Would that be your standard deputy? I don't know,
Yeah,
standard
yes,
is maybe
and
the
yes,
word.
yes, it's good to find them if you can find them. It's difficult to always find them because a lot of times they're already in those roles or they're not very hard to find them, kind of retired or transitioning. It's really hard to find them to be on. It's really hard. Dawn is great. She's willing to help out,
Sure.
with that, but
Wealth of knowledge.
yeah, with the wealth of knowledge, but you can't really bring in somebody really brand new to take on that role for $50 a month.
No.
What we had, well, the next category that they have is called like a deputy clerk assistant, where that person is working side by side with the clerk, transitioning working side by side on all the roles, all the statutory duties, and that person reports to you directly and assisting you in fulfilling those functions. And they're in the office during scheduled set hours, making a salary. A couple of townships do that way. Richmond Township does it that way, and they're not at the same salary as the clerk, but they're at a reduced salary.
Well, that would be an at-will employee then, would it not?
No, it would be a straight deputy clerk.
Okay.
Only reports to me.
A paid deputy clerk.
It would be a paid deputy clerk that the board would have to approve for that. The third choice is what we had. We had an at-will employee with regular hours that was pretty much non-exempt, which means that they get into overtime. The deputy clerk assistant, if you're paid on a salary, they're exempt from any overtime. Even if you work 40 hours, they're considered an exempted employee.
Okay.
What we had was non-exempt at-will employees who had works and functions in the office, but were also assigned as a deputy as well too for the $50 stipend on top of that. But they had their non-statutory duties, which pretty much filled their day-to-day activities and tasks in the office.
So what are you, as the clerk, what are you suggesting?
One of the issues of having that type of scenario again is you run into issues with segregation of duties. So if you have an at-will employee who also has pretty much deputy attributes that they have to fulfill for that person, it really causes a hard time to really find lines to where authority kind of lines, what your statutory duties are and your non-statutory duties are. And it's so much, it just opens up the door for issues and concerns and oversight and all that.
So I guess what I'm asking, Dawn, is to recommend something to the board tonight.
Yep.
If I were in the clerk's position, I would want to at least be able to advise the board as to who I want working with me and how what role I want them in.
Right.
In other words, instead of having an administrative assistant that's also a deputy, you want to have a deputy clerk that can also fill in
Who
administrative.
will be a body there, who will still fill, and be present in the office, working side by side with the administrative assistant, but fulfilling the statutory duties that the clerk is assigning, for there.
That would be their job description.
Yep, the job description
Whatever
would
the
be.
clerk assigns to.
Right.
Okay.
So the job description would actually be a deputy clerk assistant, that's how MTA kind of classifies it as. And then I would recommend that the other job description will be strictly for the administrative assistant.
So you're suggesting that we publish it that way?
Mhm.
Okay.
So what you're saying is we would actually need 3 people?
No, just 2.
Just
I would
2,
still
okay.
say you have 2, but only one as administrative assistant / building secretary, and then the other one is strictly a deputy clerk.
Okay.
So that way, 2 bodies are there.
Yeah, okay.
And when it gets slow as a deputy clerk, she can go in the front and help.
Yeah.
Right, and then we cross-train, as the deputy clerk will be cross-training with the clerk in all the financial areas and the election areas and everything that we're pretty much kind of dealing with right now.
Okay.
And trying to work on and streamlining and
And
improve.
normally that's a salary position?
Yeah,
Not
they would
an
have set
hourly
hours, you can,
position?
you set hours for them, scheduled hours that they would be able to work
But they
in
wouldn't
there.
be paid by an hour.
Right,
If
they're
we have
paid
the
a
pay.
salary
Okay.
rate, correct, yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
Because there's gonna be some flexibility in there where they may work over or under, but the goal is to have them in the office, so that way whenever I'm pulled out, the clerk is pulled out in a meeting or training or something like that, you have a working deputy clerk still available in the office.
All right, well, I think where we have to start with this process is to publish the position, or position of.
Can I give you,
Yeah.
because I don't
Sure.
interrupt the meeting.
No, go ahead.
But I have a lot of experience at this. And Don, I really support you, but I think it's a poor idea. I believe what you want to do is for a charter township, larger townships that have millions of dollars. It becomes much more. What we've had in the past year, and I could take Cockerville and some issues we had when we were supervisor here, I think you're giving the clerk too much power in the office, because if it's not you, it could be somebody else. Now that person reports directly to you, and it's an employee on a salary basis, to try to remove them, I think would be pretty dang tough. by the
Well,
board.
if
Yeah.
and when I ever do leave the position, that deputy clerk's position is also eliminated.
They go with the.
They go with the clerk, right?
Well, it depends on who's on the board.
Yeah, there's a fine line there.
Mhm.
Depending on, whatever life is,
Yeah.
the next election, things change and people forget what this meeting is talking about. And I just talked to personally, I think you may have issues if you do it that way. I think you can have deputy clerk and, possibly hire that person, but to have it a salary position. And I don't know if you've done a cost analysis yet for the amount of hours to see if it's actually a cost savings or cost expense, because you gotta have a deputy clerk regardless.
Right.
Price is already set.
Right.
Now you go and put it on a salary, is that comparable to what the current person, is it slightly more? I don't know what you have in mind,
Yeah,
that's what they're gonna.
Yeah, I wasn't able, because of all the glitches that we've been having, but what I've been, thinking about was, working 16 hours a week at like $900 a month. But that's the entire month, which is much less than what others, deputy clerks, in comparison, are doing in other townships. But when you look at like the two persons, if you have 2 bodies in your office, so if we're going to replace, one administrative assistant, like building secretary at one rate, and then the deputy clerk at that one rate, between the 2 of them, those salaries though would actually be less than what was already being paid. So,
Well, that's for you guys.
but I wasn't able to get it all together, and
I'm just sitting here as a citizen, and, I think, if you start with the administrative assistant, use that as one example. I'm interrupting, and maybe I shouldn't.
No, you're
Start with
fine.
one position,
You're
go
the
with that,
fine.
get that position filled, And you guys can do your research and see if this is, giving them cost analysis, see if you're, because you're gonna have a deputy clerk, whoever that is anyway.
Right,
If you go and have somebody apply and you find out that isn't the person you want, well, now you're not gonna potentially have to call out that person in your office.
Right, right.
Or if you leave and you have a deputy, then you're not having to train another new person.
Yep.
Yeah, let's start with the first,
Okay.
job description you mentioned.
Okay, the administrative assistant
Yes,
/ building
let's
secretary.
Let's post that and, see what kind of response we get.
Okay,
We can think a little bit more about the other. I tend to agree with Dave that we put somebody in a place that is not an at-will employee, but yet their salary, that could cause some problems. That might get complicated.
yeah, I've
down
been
the road somewhere.
trying to think of all different ways of going about it,
Sure.
and so that was just one option that I came across,
Sure.
to have that person more available in the office as well.
Right.
But at the same time, I also, wanted to make sure that we had segregation of duties as well.
All right. Well, let's start with publishing the first position you mentioned.
Okay.
We can think about it more as to what we want to do beyond that point. You are going to have to find a deputy no matter what the board decides or how
Right.
the board decides to pay that deputy. You're going to have a deputy, so
Right.
I would suggest you be looking for a deputy.
I have been,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I have
And
been.
sooner we can get someone in place, the better. And then the board can decide how they want to pay them
Okay.
or what they want to do from there with it.
Is there any way we could look into maybe contacting a temp service, get somebody in there answering phones and keep the doors open?
Sure. I can
Just in the interim between
Right.
then and now.
Yeah, who's still around as a temp service? I know years ago I used to be a Kelly service, but I don't know if they're still around.
I think I got one of my emails, they keep sending me monthly updates, so I can look into that, get you the number.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know. We need somebody in the office now for answering phones and doing whatever can be done on an interim basis or a contingent until we can get somebody in those places permanently. So,
Okay.
yeah, shoot any ideas at me you might have or people you might want us to talk to.
Should we discuss as far as like a wage for the temp
Sure.
service?
Sure. You wanna
I'm
make-
thinking with the temp service, you can basically call them the next day, you'll have somebody.
You want to make a recommendation on that, Mike?
I'm thinking with COVID and competing with our government, how's $15 sound?
No. Can I put that in a motion?
Can I make a motion to offer $15 for an interim administrative assistant to get the position filled permanently?
I'll support that. Any other discussion? Okay. You want to do a roll call on that as well, Dawn?
Okay. Mark Baranowski?
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel?
Yes.
Mike Rushing?
Yes.
Al Qaeda?
Yes.
Don Deum, yes.
Motion carried. All right, can we move on then from front office to policy changes and updates?
Al, you
Yes.
never made a motion to post an administrative assistant to hire somebody.
Oh,
Sorry.
you're correct. We did not. That's why we need people like you in the audience. All right, let's make a motion. I'll make the motion to post the position of administrative assistant.
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? Any other board members?
Nope.
Any comments? All right, then, there's no further discussion. Do a roll call on that, please.
Dwayne Hagel?
Yes.
Mark Baranowski?
Yes.
Mike Rushing?
Yes.
Don Deum, yes. Al Qaeda?
Yes, motion carried.
Al, is the office gonna be open anytime soon to pay our taxes?
Oh, I'll let the clerk answer that. She doesn't have enough to think about right now.
Yeah,
Dropbox.
Yeah.
As far
There
as
is a
printing
Dropbox,
here.
there is a Dropbox available right now, with the envelopes on the front door. I'm there every day that I can get it. I've had so many things on my hot plate right now that it's just been pretty much impossible to cover both bases.
I see you were up there working yesterday.
I've been up there
Every day.
7:30 in the morning till,
So, yeah, use the Dropbox for now.
The treasurer to collect the
Doug.
taxes, not the clerk. But the treasurer's statutory duty to collect.
I collect them at the post office and, like I said, as far as the front office, deposit in the Dropbox.
Yeah.
But as far as coming in and printing receipts,
You're not doing that?
Not as right now.
Why not?
Manpower?
Well, that is your job, if you don't have somebody in office.
Yeah, well, we're working forward to fixing that, and we're in transition.
Yes, so how do
now.
they come
I have gotten some complaints by residents.
Yeah.
to pay the taxes if they can't get a receipt, you know, or smart?
Well, yeah, they would have to have it stamped, paid at least.
Receipt. Yeah, so how does it get stamped?
So what do you wanna do with that, Mike? Do you wanna, pick up the ones in the Dropbox and then receipt them at the end of the day, or how do you wanna do it? You
I
have to
could
decide.
probably do that.
I mean, even if you gotta send them an email, have them put their email address, at least they'll have something showing that it did receive the office.
You can email them a receipt.
Exactly,
I
yep.
think that's very important, because I know a couple people that taxes were misplaced last year, and their checks originally weren't cashed,
Yeah.
so
I heard that too.
I think that's a really good idea, that you send us something out immediately, so there's paper trail.
Yeah, check those each day then, Mike. But for now, you'll have to drop them in the box.
Well, as before, if you need me, I said I would assist my time at times, come in the office, and you get the position filled.
Mhm.
I did come in one day, not long.
You did.
Want to be there, so I was. If you do have any specific instances, I would say contact Al or the treasurer personally, leave a message. If you got a name of somebody that's complaining, then they can contact me directly. Like Mike said earlier, now, if it isn't written down, it never happened. Every one of us can say whatever rumors we want to say to support our position. But if you have documentation on somebody that has not complained,
Yeah.
so that doesn't benefit anybody, it doesn't benefit the residents, doesn't benefit the board.
I know. Yeah, I do, I really do apologize, but I've really been, trying to get my head above water on, because of the technical difficulties that we've been having, that's just really threw everything into a real whole loop. My biggest priority was making sure that payroll got out. My next thing was pretty much getting the rest of the reports ready for the auditors. We had some transition issues that not issues, but we had to get the transitional paperwork all done, getting the systems all set up, the computers all transferred up. That took a great deal of time, and then with the internet not working, the server not working properly, and
Because I could dedicate some time, and everybody else wants to
Yeah.
offer their services. All you have to do is put them in a manila envelope, stamp that and receive them, leave it for Mike, and then he can do all the documentation. All you have to do is receive the check, stamp it, and then that person has a receipt that it was dropped off, and then let you guys do your job.
Right.
Anybody that potentially is in the office to do that, you can keep a record of everybody that comes in, accept their checks, put them in an envelope, and here you go.
yeah. My next biggest priority has been trying to get the accounts payable, in, and that's, again, was challenging, because I was trying, my last attempt to do that today as I was working on it, and this, and.
Edison shut you down.
Yeah, so it's been challenging, we're
Yes,
trying to
it
work
has.
our way best through it, so I do apologize for the delay, because believe me, I hate the fact of being discombobulated like this. This is not how I like to function and work. I like things to work nice and smooth and stuff like that. It's gonna take time, please be patient. We're doing our best that we can, and believe me, it bothers me just as much as it bothers you guys too, so, trying our hardest.
Yeah.
What's that?
How come there's nobody in there?
The two,
Art's out of the loop here.
oh, yeah,
Yeah,
the two,
yeah, that's okay.
the two, other, office girls, had resigned.
So, yeah, we're without the help that we need right now to run the office as we should be. We're in transition, we're doing the best we know right now to work through that, and we will work through it, and Dave made an excellent suggestion. If there is a complaint or concern, call Mike or myself in regards to the taxes, and we'll see that you get a receipt for your taxes.
Yeah, and then like a big chunk was getting ready for tonight's meeting as well too, so that kind of.
So, drop them in the box, and we'll make sure they get receipted, and you get a receipt back, one way or the other. All right, let's move on tonight, with,
Yeah,
what else did you have there, Dawn? We're trying to get through this new business list.
yep, so now we're on policy changes and updates.
What do we have on that?
And that was the, COVID response. We're gonna try to resend that.
Yeah, we, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, our governor has rescinded the COVID restrictions that were in place. And so we need to amend our policy tonight. And we will certainly do that. Do you want to make a recommendation on that, Dawn?
I make a motion to rescind policy number 46 in response to the state of Michigan has rescinded their executive orders.
All right, I will support that motion. You want just a general vote on that? I don't think we need a roll call.
No.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Anything else under that number 4?
Yes. We also, hold on, what's that one? Sorry.
Zoom.
The
Yeah.
Zoom,
The Zoom is no longer needed. Let me just find my, here it is, okay. Back in January of 28th of 2001, a Zoom host compensation was approved at $50 per meeting. I would like to make a motion to rescind that. It is no longer needed with the listed restrictions at this time.
All right, I'll support that motion. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We move to number 5 then, payroll.
Okay. So, that was the big first hot plate that I had. Bear with me, let me get my right folder here. Okay. The payroll, as it has been completed over time, has been pretty much the township has an established pay period ending date and a pay date. So typically what's been done is we have a pay period ending date is when is the date that you have that you fill out your timesheets to, and then you have a pay date that's always after the pay ending date. So which means pretty much that any hours after the period ending date is what's going to be on the pay date. But what I've been seeing from doing my first payroll is that some timesheets were submitted in. I know that there was a cutoff at the 23rd, so some timesheets, they were establishing that as the pay ending date to be paid on the pay date, which is the last
That's what
day
I
of the
was,
month.
to mine was the 20th.
Well, the issue is that some timesheets that were submitted in were paid that way, and other timesheets that were turned in submitted for the entire month of hours worked that were beyond the 23rd and actually got paid on the pay date for those hours before they were actually worked. You can't do that.
So what are you recommending for a
So
change?
Change your pay date?
we need to change the pay date. We can keep the pay, I know
Just
this is
keep the pay on the
confusing.
1st, but have the end be like the 15th or the
Well,
21st.
no, not necessarily. Because we want to, when we do our budgets, we're looking at things on a monthly thing. So we want to, pay the bills for the month of June and do the payroll for the whole month of June. It makes accounting easier, but unfortunately, nothing is easy with accounting. It's complicated.
Yeah.
So basically, we were kind of acting as a cash basis accounting system when we're really supposed to be using an accrual basis. I don't know how, it's hard to explain. Accounting is complicated, and not everybody always gets it, unless you've actually been involved with it. And this is one of the things that's so complicated in a board like this, when you have turnaround in positions that aren't always fully understanding how payroll and accounting all interact with each other.
Okay.
And the complexities of the payroll laws and the language of terminology and how it's applied is very confusing.
So,
I would like to keep the period ending date still at the end of the month,
okay,
as it has been consistent as how our auditors kind of look at things on a monthly basis. But we need to move the pay date when you actually receive your check or your direct deposit is going to be after the last day of the month to be able to allow for processing of that pay period. We did it on the fly because I don't want to change anything without, giving it good discussion and understanding, helping everybody understand why it is the way it is and what we need to do.
Would like, say, the last Friday of the month, do you have to have a specific date, or can you have a
Well-
specific day?
I'd like to really look into a little bit more, too. Usually your pay periods, when you do them, you can do weekly, you can do bi-monthly, you can do monthly, you can do every 2 weeks. So there's really how you want to set it up for how much time are you going to really have. Being a smaller agency that we are, what I did 25, 27 timesheets, right? So it's fairly reasonable, but there's many different pays and how everybody is paid. So that is complex. So
do you want us to table this tonight, give you a little more time to look at this?
what I would like to, first of all, because it's going to affect me next month, and next month, with the meeting being in the beginning of the month, that's going to tie me down in preparing for the next board meeting in August, which we're going to have a public hearing.
Right.
I can pretty much tell you right now that we need to keep our pay ending date as the last day of the month, but we do need to change our pay date like either 7 to 10 days after the period ending date,
Okay,
to allow enough time at the end of the month to get the bills paid, to get prepared for the board meeting, and to allow for good processing of the payroll system.
all right.
That's the first thing I want to do, is establish that, and so we can get that started next pay cycle.
Are you prepared to do that tonight in a motion?
Yes,
Okay, why don't you make a motion then?
okay.
Just for the sake of time and.
I know, sorry.
The fact that
I'm
the AC's
confused.
out and we're in the
I
dark.
know, I
So
get it,
let's
it is
push that.
confusing.
Not to cut you short, but let's push it as quick as we can here.
It is
It's
confusing,
gonna
but
get real hot in here.
I can just pretty much tell you that you never pay a timesheet unless the work has actually been done. That's just common practice.
All right,
So, I motion to set the pay ending date, the last day of each month, and set the pay date after the period ending date of, I'm gonna say 7 days after the period ending date,
all right.
to allow ample time to process them.
Could I understand this very well, and what you're talking about? You're gonna have to have 7 days minimum, otherwise you may have a particular month where you only have 6 days. And the days, you have to have a full week, because then your pay cycles affect your monthly 941 payments and whatever taxes you have to do, state taxes, state mission monthly taxes. So you need 7 to 10 would be.
I'd say 10, because like when I do my taxes.
I know, well, I know, I wanna make it fair, because I get it, people rely on their paychecks, I understand that, that's why we busted our butt to make sure that we got the payout at least done, done, it was late on Wednesday, and I wanted to make sure everybody had their paycheck, even though it was challenging.
In the same breath too, if we had like we say it's set for the 10th, if we get it done early, can we process them early?
You usually wanna stick to a particular cycle.
Stick with the same date.
Yeah, you gotta stick, so,
Does that go for the billing department then too, because the payroll ends at 23rd?
yes, yes, if it's any type of wage compensation for that, yes.
And
That would include
policy
you
would
too.
have to be changed as well.
Yep, that's correct. So, do we want, so discussion on then, what do you think I'm asking? You want 7 or 10? I'd be pushing it if it's 7 days after
Make
the
it
last
10
day of the month?
Yeah, to me, these are decisions that the clerk should be making.
Yeah.
And yes, you want.
It'll hurt for the first month, but then
It
everybody
will,
will be
it's an
into the same thing.
adjustment period, But once we get into that,
You're the one that's doing this, so you make a motion.
yep, I just did.
All right.
Do I have support?
I'll support that.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and support. Do you want a roll call on that?
Yes.
Dawn?
Dawn Beam, yes. Mark Baranowski?
Yes.
Al Titus?
Yes.
Mike Rushing?
Yes.
Wayne Hagel?
Yes.
Motion carried.
The next thing I would like to talk about is, now that we have this established for the next pay cycle to do, looking ahead in the future, the involvement with doing the payroll and all the other aspects of the remittance checks and the taxes, all that goes along into that whole payroll package. It's been done manually through the BS&A system. It can be done for those who are really understand the system and the complexities of how it all kind of gets done. I am recommending that we seek out and look further into, and I would be willing to bring it to the next meeting, a third-party payroll service, such as ADP. Looking at their website, I used to do payroll with ADP for the large corporation, and obviously much bigger, but even on the smaller scale, the issue is when you have rotating board members kind of coming in and don't really fully understand all the scope of what is involved with payroll and all the different details and information that goes along with it, errors can easily be made. And working with a third-party payroll allows you to really have those internal controls. They are up to date and current on all the payroll laws and regulations, and they work with you on making sure that how your payroll process is correct and accurate and following the regulations. They also offer to interlink with your GL. BS&A does that too. But they kind of do it more on their server at that time. Once you have it all set up, when we have these power failures here, my hands are tied with the system, and this is where I'm at right now. My hands are tied because our service on our end doesn't work. If I was able to it's not just the generator, it's the internet service, has to be able to transmit it. But if I can at least get the payroll transmitted to the third-party payroll, and we have all the taxes, all the remittance checks already set up through them, they send those out automatically each month, no matter what, once we do our initial transmission. It really simplifies and streamlines, and because we are small enough, it would be fairly reasonable. Their smallest package, I don't have any quotes or prices yet, but looking at their different levels of their packages, their smallest package would be sufficient to meet our needs, and I would like to really dig in and get more information and bring at the next meeting those figures and numbers on what exactly that they can offer for us.
All right, I'm going to make a motion on number 5, payroll, to table this until next month's meeting. You can bring us back some more information, some cost figures, and we can make a decision on that.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 6 is audit.
Just a quick update on that. I was able to get the last of the audit reports over to them today. I actually had, the last report was pretty large, and I actually, because of our internet, it wouldn't load at the office, so I had to take it and go home and send it to them. It was 146 pages long, and it just would not go. And I don't understand, because at my house, I have the same internet provider.
Yeah, you're in Riley Center now.
I know.
That's
We do things different here.
It's a whole different world. A whole different world.
So they do have everything that they need at this point, so we are on schedule for July 19th at 7 a.m. for our audit.
Okay. All right.
We do actually have one policy change left in my packet.
Did I forget?
Paid time off.
Oh, yes, that. I would really like to rescind that and develop a more comprehensive plan, a more clear-cut, easily understood package, but would be really, I really want to develop it so that way we can table it, but I want to update it, resend that, and bring together a better comprehensive package, so that way we can offer the new employees coming in. We have a little bit of time, once we hire a new employee, typically they wouldn't really be getting this until probably like after 3 months. But I really want to have the policy detailed in what exactly, how it's going to be used, when they can use it, how it's accrued, more explanation on it.
Okay, let's make a motion to table it, then you can bring us some more information on it. I'll make that motion to table.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. How about the last one, 7, is that something we need to table as well?
That was something that was submitted to us,
These building permit fee schedule?
yes.
All right. Can we table that tonight and look at it next month when we have light?
Yes.
All right, I'll make a motion to table number 7.
I'll second.
Permit fee schedule, Dwayne supported it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All we have left is comments from the Board of Trustees, not already addressed. I have one. Let's adjourn this meeting.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
8:35.
Meeting adjourned. Next meeting is August 3rd, is it not? I think it says 2nd here, but I think it's the 3rd.
Is, do I have that typo?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, so we'll correct that. August 3rd is the next meeting.
7 p.m. All right. Adjournment.